Senator John Kennedy calls out a hypocritical professor in Louisiana who wants you to live in a smaller house, all for the sake of the environment. Welcome back to Resist the Mainstream. I'm Steve Inman. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Well, Senator John Kennedy is back in the spotlight, and anytime he's in the spotlight, you know it's going to be entertaining. Apparently, a professor in Louisiana is calling for change when it comes to you living in a big house. Senator Kennedy doing what he does best, calling out the hypocrisy of these rich professors. Rules for thee and not for me seems to be an ongoing theme and problem, and professors like this think they don't have to abide by the rules. Only you do. Even when questioned on their hypocrisy, they have no answer, no facts, and the conversation always ends up with a triggered person who'd rather tell you how to live while dodging questions that go against their rich schemes. Senator John Kennedy doesn't hold back, as always, with his calm demeanor. This professor looks like a character out of a movie. Watch Kennedy put him in his place.
Professor Keenan, you teach at Tulane?
Yes, sir, I do. I have that privilege.
And you have your own website, KeenanClimate.com, is that right?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And you describe yourself on your website as a globally recognized thought leader. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you give paid speeches, do you?
On occasion, I do.
You have your own agent, I believe, according to your website, Lee Bureau.
This is correct.
And how much do you charge per speech?
It varies depending on the audience, the amount of preparation work that goes, and the amount of follow-through. Usually,
The last paid speech you gave, how much did you receive?
I'm happy to follow up on it.
You don't remember?
I do not.
Do you give that money to Tulane?
I do not.
You keep it?
Yes, this is outside of my capacity as a professor.
Right.
As is
Now,
standard course.
you recently sent a letter you recently joined a lot of other academics. You signed a letter demanding that elite institutions and universities stop accepting money from fossil fuel companies. Is that correct?
This is correct.
You consider Tulane an elite university?
I would like to think that we have a high standard of excellence in our education and our research.
Okay. Well, the Murphy family of Murphy Oil and the Deming family of Murphy Oil have recently given Tulane $25 million. Have you called on Tulane to give that money back?
Well, it's not, they didn't give that money to my unit or the department or school that I work in.
Have you called on Tulane to give that money back, or you think that's okay for them to keep it?
It's their prerogative, not mine.
Okay. Yet you just signed a letter saying that all elite universities should refuse fossil fuel money. Did you put a footnote in there and say, except my own?
Well, what I'd like to say, Senator, is that I believe it raises a conflict of interest for those that research climate change that are supported by the fossil fuel industry.
But then why don't you ask Tulane to give the $25 million back?
Well, I think in the context, if that money were to be used to support climate research, information, disinformation, or whatever it may be, then that may be an appropriate conflict of interest. But I think in the context of which
You don't see the hypocrisy here?
It is a hypocrisy in those that may read and interpret it as such.
Maybe it's like Washington. If there weren't double standards, there wouldn't be standards at all. Let me ask you this. You also participated in another article here criticizing Houston for building new buildings and McMansions. And you said, I'm going to read your quote. I don't want to misquote you, Professor. That means we have to change our consumer preferences. You could have a super efficient, energy efficient mega mansion in Houston or the suburbs, but it's still a mansion. You're still over-consuming space. Did you say that?
Yes, sir. That's based on work as a member of the IPCC. Our research suggested that reducing our footprint in terms of total spatial footprint would have significant impacts on the decarbonization of the built environment.
And so you're saying that people should live in smaller houses because larger houses contribute to CO2 emissions?
100%, Senator.
Okay. Well, recently, Tulane finished the Commons. It was 77,000 square feet, $55 million. Recently, Tulane finished the Gold Ring Woldenberg Business Complex, $35 million to complete, 92,000 square feet. Boy, that's a McMansion. Mustapher Hall, 23,000 square feet. Paul Hall, 36,000 square feet. Richardson Hall, 50,000 square feet. Housing redevelopment phase 1, 230,000 square feet at Tulane. Have you called upon Tulane to stop these buildings?
Sir, the habitable space within those units are roughly the size of the conference room back there and are indeed quite
But
small.
they contribute to, does...
Everything that we do,
Does the
contributes.
Commons contribute more to climate change than a McMansion in Houston? You were pretty quick to criticize the people of Houston for wanting to build, you thought, McMansions, but you don't criticize your own university?
I don't find that to be equivocal comparison between space meant for students who must reside at a university.
You don't see
and
the
those that-
hypocrisy in that?
It is your finding and interpretation, sir.
But you don't see the irony of the hypocrisy?
I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay. I kind of gathered that would be your answer.
The hypocrisy, the stench, it never ends. And you can have facts, but they don't care. And why should they? You're taking money out of their pocket. You really think they would even listen to any facts in the first place? No, because this isn't about the environment. This is about enriching the elites. And people who are constantly against capitalism are now supporting capitalism through this fake hoax that is raking in millions of dollars. The hypocrisy knows no bounds when it comes to the biggest money-making scheme in the world. To every person thinking they're fighting climate change, to every person that hates capitalism, to every person that complains about it on their iPhone and Android phones, you've become the very thing you hate. Congratulations, you played yourself. Once again, I'm Steve Inman with Resist the Mainstream. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time, take care, and we'll see you then.